Yes, fam. And I'm super psyched to have you on. I do want to say before we get started, my building decided to turn off the water. So I am disheveled and my hair is in all sorts of different directions. And Andrew Cruzy is just as easily frazzled as I am. So our entire morning routine is all sorts of off.
Oh,
but
no.
Hey, that's how the world works. And the water will be coming on at 5 o'clock today. So life, right?
Of course.
But I'm super happy to finally have you on. You and I got connected, I think, a year and a half ago. And it's been a pretty cool ride ever since. But we're not here to talk about like me and what I'm doing. Everybody knows what I do, right? But not too many people know about you and your journey. And I think what's interesting about your journey is like, you've definitely hit like barriers, challenges, problems, reason why it couldn't work. Like you were
Right.
pregnant with your second kid and you had to figure out all this stuff and you just left a job. So I was hoping you could give us a background of like, it's so cool to be up here, but like, where was it like when you got started?
Yeah, so I started in January 2018. But prior to that, I was always doing like the side hustle, working nights and outside of my 9 to 5 job and building websites. I've been building websites since I was 16.
Back like when WordPress was new and like when you had Joomla and all that stuff, right?
Yes. So I started in the affiliate marketing game way back when I was like 16, coded a website like from scratch. Didn't make a dime off of that site. But because I had no idea what I was doing. But that's how far back it goes. And from there, went to college. I went to college for communications, got my bachelor's in public relations, got my first job out of college, did the corporate life, 9 to 5. I hated it, hated every single minute of it. I literally felt like I was in a prison. And so at that time, I had my first daughter. She's 5 now. And so my husband was actually at home with her, and I was so jealous. I was like, you get to spend all the time with her, and I'm stuck here. But fast forward to my next job, I worked at a startup after that, a startup company, and I actually grew that company to its peak. Like there was no more customers left for me to reach out to. It was a very niche audience. So they knew it. I knew it. I just wasn't going to say it. And I got laid off because there was nothing left for me to do.
Yep.
But I wasn't scared. Like it was more of a sense of relief than anything because I always wanted to go full time in my business and with my agency. And that just kind of gave me the kick that I needed to do that. And I was pregnant with my second daughter at that time. So from there, I just kind of hit the ground running. My husband was still working. So we had a little bit of, I wasn't too stressed. But we still needed that income. So I hit the ground running and it's been a huge learning curve and a lot of bumps in the road since then. Yep. It is not an easy thing at all. If anyone thinks this is an easy business to get into, I think a lot of people are like drawn in by the shiny object syndrome. And it is not easy at all.
That's one of like my biggest criticisms of like Facebook ads or digital marketing, something like that's like work 1 hour a day, make $1 million. You're like, no, thank you. Okay, no. That's not how this works at all.
No.
Like with our agency, when we hit like that 7-figure run rate, I was like, oh, every single mistake and problem I've ever had just got multiplied 100 times over.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter like how small of an actual problem it is with your client. They think it's the biggest, most difficult thing in the world. I'm like, just reset your password. I can't find the link. It's right in front of you. Like, why is this a problem? Right? And right. It's hilarious when I see that outbound marketing, the ads of like work 1 or 2 hours a day. I'm like, nah, that ain't how it's supposed to work. This is like an interesting journey.
No.
And it's a highly paid journey, but it's the equivalent of like a crash course in being vice president of Goldman Sachs. Yeah, you're gonna make a ton of money, but there's responsibilities that come with it.
Right.
Now, what you mentioned earlier, which is kind of interesting, is like you left your first job and then you're like, all right, I got to make this work. So were you like going back to saying I can build websites? Were you going back to saying I can do Facebook ads. Like when you had left your second job and you were laid off, like what happens then? Like, do you just start knocking on doors? Like, how do you get your first chunk of clients?
I actually started with reputation management. That's where I started. So helping people get more reviews, super simple, back in the day. But that's how I started. And I started with businesses that I already knew and people that I was already in contact with. So the chiropractor that I went to while I was pregnant with my daughter. And that's essentially where it started. And then a friend of my husband's that owned an HVAC business. So that's where I started. I started just marketing or networking with the people that I knew, and getting my foot in the door that way. And I learned as I went.
Yep.
So I started with reputation management, and then that opened the door to local SEO because it is kind of hard to sell reputation management by itself. I mean, there's so many softwares out there that automate it for people. And I just didn't feel comfortable charging, $300 a month to help people get more reviews.
Yeah.
So I coupled that with local SEO. I dove headfirst into local SEO, learned how to do that. That was a long process of learning and figuring that out. And started and implemented as I went for my clients and started getting results for them. And I was surprising myself as much as they were happy. And I was super excited too that they were getting results. But of course, they built their trust in me as we went, and so I was able to sell them on other services. As they were getting results with their local SEO.
So when you say reputation management, is that just getting more Google reviews and Yelp reviews? Like what does reputation management actually mean?
So it's essentially automating their review process. So it's not sending out a bulk, email to 100 of their past clients to get reviews, because Google could actually flag you for that. And their Google business listing could have all their reviews taken away if they found out that you did that. It is setting up a process to automate their review acquisition, essentially. So many businesses, they know they need reviews, but they don't have that process in place to automate it. And I know that High Level offers a kind of an automated system for reviews, but I take it a step further in that I create a whole funnel for it. Yeah. So I build out essentially, and I was using a program prior to High Level, and I ended up actually building the funnel out in High Level for all of my clients. So I ended up saving like over $350 a month just by switching it all over to High Level. So I just built out a review funnel for my clients, and all they have to do is input their client's information, name, number, and email address, and their clients then get sent to their landing page saying, basically tailored to their services, hey, how did we do? Would you recommend us? Yes or no?
Yep.
Yes, then they're sent to leave a review. No, then they're sent to send them a message or an email rather than leaving that review.
Gotcha. So reputation management is just like an easier way or better way of just getting better reviews, right?
Right. And we do answer reviews as well within our services. So we answer reviews, and that's part of our local SEO services, because we will kind of work in their keywords and whatnot to answering the reviews. So
like, thanks for being a great customer in Miami, Florida, instead of just thanks. Gotcha.
Right. Exactly. And then also trying to spread those reviews out across multiple platforms depending on their niche. So if they're a real estate agent, then getting those reviews on Zillow and Realtor.com and things like that.
Gotcha. Did you find it was easier to get in the door with like your current circle that wanted reputation management versus like Facebook ads or something like that? Or that wasn't even the conversation because that was the only tool you had?
It was, well, I hadn't even explored Facebook ads yet at that point. So Facebook ads came on after the scene and after I discovered your group. And no, I think I started with Dan Henry, actually. Dan Henry was the first step. And then I dove deeper into it, and then realized that Dan Henry stuff was just like elementary, like super basic, and really learned what I was doing. But yeah, so I didn't even know how to do Facebook ads yet. That
Mhm.
came on a little bit after.
So all you did was just have normal conversations with the people that were in your circle of touch, feel, KLT, and you'd be like, "Hey, I do this, you do that," and then that was the start. Is that pretty much it?
Yes, exactly. It's like, hey, will you give me a shot? I can make your website look so much better.
Yeah, and that's it, right?
Right. That's it. Yeah. Well,
Do
I
you
will
find
say,
that go
sorry,
on?
I was going to say, I will say this for my first client, the chiropractor, what I did, because I desperately wanted to get them as a client. And they have 3 locations. So it's definitely worth it. I built out like a mock site of what it would look like for them and
Mhm.
presented that to them. And someone said Jeff Miller stuff is not super basic. No, it's not. So I built out a mock site for them and showed them, hey, this is what your website will look like essentially. And it looked, 100 times better than their existing website. So it was a no-brainer for them.
Do you find that people very often feel like they need to have like the next certification, the next tool before they feel empowered to talk to a client or customer? Like I have to get that stamp from like Digital Marketer or the WordPress certification or something like that before they can have that conversation. Do you think that comes up a lot, or like why are people not talking to their providers about this more?
It has never come up. Never. None of my clients know what that is or know that exists. No, that's never come up. Nobody's ever asked me, hey, are you a Google partner, certified Facebook partner? Like, no, do you know how much you have to spend with Facebook to be a Facebook partner?
Yeah.
No.
I go through this group all the time, and there's always this weird like thing of I don't have enough to make it worth having a conversation with me. Like I need to have the next tool or the next thing or the next certification to be good enough to talk. And all you need to be good enough to talk is just to talk, right?
Right.
Like
Right.
you just need to be able to have a conversation with somebody you're already saying like, hey, you willing to give me a shot? Like I don't know any time I've ever gone to a plumber and be like, but are you certified in the upcoming like plumber snake drill thing? I have no
Right.
idea what that is, right?
Right.
And as such is the opposite true. So you're having these conversations with people that you know, like, and trust, saying like, hey, give me a shot, whether it's a website mock-up or a review campaign or something like that. And then what happens after that? Like you get your first chunk of clients and customers, and then what happens?
And then word of mouth. Word starts traveling. So this is particularly in my local community. Obviously, I've gotten a lot of word of mouth referrals. I joined local networking groups, and I know this is what you were preaching a lot more back in the day of how to get started. And it's the perfect way of how to get started with no money, no advertising budget, nothing. All you have is yourself. And so that's how I got started. I joined the chamber, I joined local networking groups, and word of mouth started traveling.
It's really not that hard once you get like out of your own way, right?
Yeah,
Perfect.
exactly.
So word of mouth, things are growing, and you start doing Google reviews, SEO, all non-Facebook ad stuff. And you throw Facebook ads in there. And I remember reviewing your demos and your sales audits, stuff like that. You had clients come on, clients leave. Was this the first time you experienced the frustration of like client churn when it comes to Facebook ads? Is that correct?
I was doing Facebook ads before I joined the Inner Circle, but I had never scaled it to the level that I scaled it after I joined Inner Circle. And so, yes, that is the first time that I experienced the churn and burn of Facebook ad clients, and it stressed me out like no other. I wasn't sleeping. So I had to take a step back because I was so stressed out, and sometimes at the end of the day, money's not worth the stress that it takes away from your family and your relationships and everything. So I had to take a step back from that and from scaling that side of it, and to really take a look at my processes and systems and see what was broken, what needed to be fixed so I could scale that again. And also which one of my services retains my clients the longest. And it has never been Facebook ads, and maybe it's just because of the niche I'm in home services. I know that some other niches, you can retain clients a lot longer with Facebook ad services, like the higher dollar, niche that like you're in and some other people. But home services, I don't know. It's a churn and burn with Facebook ads, because you're having to re-explain yourself every single month. They are churning and burning their own salespeople, their own techs, and you're having to retrain people.
Yep.
They're not going to log on to your freaking client portal.
Yep.
It's not going to happen. So I didn't even bother creating one because I can't even get them to open a freaking email.
Yep.
So
like the weirdest and most unique challenge is that like a business will only grow by acquiring more clients and customers. Like I don't care how technically proficient you are at any business. All you are is technically proficient. That is fundamentally different than the client acquisition process. And you can do client acquisition for all the clients that they want, but they'll keep defaulting to, I don't know if you read the E-Myth, like the technician versus business owner, right? Like that fight back and forth. And we've had clients that have paid us $3,500 a month. And at the most, it's 15 minutes every other week. Mm-hmm. And we've had clients pay us $1,500 a month. And I swear it's like holding their hand because they can't figure out how to bookmark a website. Yeah. And I'm like, how is this a conversation again, Mr. Johnson?
Right.
And we've had clients where like they get a new front desk every 6 weeks. We've got to spend time to retrain their staff because they refuse to watch the video. I'm like, how is this a thing?
Yeah.
And all these like fundamental frustrations of business growth, as a function of business growth, you're going to get non-ideal clients. They freak out. That's what outbound is, right? Yes. And that will always lead to like a churn and burn conversation. But what I'm hearing from you is there's an alternate and better path that's not Facebook ads that allows more consistency, more reliability, and a more reliable recurring revenue, which is non-Facebook ads stuff. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. So on top of the frustrations with Facebook ads as a Facebook ad agency and having to deal with the clients, their biggest frustration is the lead quality. Because when you're on Facebook, you're not looking to get your floor refinished. You're just scrolling through, trying to be entertained or seeing what your friends or your family posted.
Yeah.
But, oh, hey, an ad pops up and, oh, maybe I'll do that someday. So they put in their name and number. So they're not always the best quality. Sorry, my dog just hit the desk.
I love it when that stuff happens to the interviews. I was doing an interview and like Andrew Cruz, he just totally blanked and just started walking behind. And like during the interview, I'm like, Andrew, we're live with like 70 people. He's like, oh, okay. And just like totally blanked out during the middle of it. And like that stuff is like so hilarious. So, all right. Yeah, go on. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so they always complain about the lead quality because they aren't ready to buy right now many times. So they're used to warm referrals or people calling them, wanting to do business with them, whereas they're now having to chase the leads down, or that, you get an ISA team or whatever. But they're not always the highest quality leads. They're not ready to do business right now.
Yeah.
So flip the switch and you say, okay, well, I completely understand that. I know where you're coming from. Yes, sometimes they take a little longer to close. The buying process is longer with Facebook leads. Yeah. However, how would you like to have more people calling you directly? They're searching for your services already. They're looking to do business with you right now. And when they call you, they're ready to close pretty much. And there's not much left to the sales process on the other end of that. So that's where local SEO comes in. Except I don't call it SEO to my clients because many times they've had a bad experience with another SEO company.
Yep.
And that happens, I would say, almost 80 to 90% of the time. They've had a bad experience. So I don't call it SEO. I have, my own kind of term for it. And I say, okay, let's get you found in Google Maps.
Love it.
If they don't know what Google Maps is, then I just do a quick visual for them and they're like, oh yeah, okay, I understand. So, how do you search for, a barber shop if you have no idea who to go to? You're going to go to Google, barbershop near me. Yep. So you want to make sure that you're found in Google Maps when people are searching for your services. Mm-hmm. And following that, you want to make sure that you have 5-star reviews to back you up. because they're going to first, they're going to, find the businesses, then they're going to look for the one with the best reviews and the most reviews typically. And then take it a step further, they are going to go to your website, especially if it's a high dollar item, they are going to go to your website. If it's a lower dollar item, they may not. But say take painting or painter or flurry finishing or something like that. A lot of times they will take the step further to go to your website and check you out and look at your work and make sure you do a quality job. So you have a whole process here. So you've taken them from maybe they're not a great fit for Facebook ads because you've just tried so hard to help them close these leads and they just can't.
Yep.
Or the ads just aren't working. I mean, sometimes that happens, whether it's based on their location or the type of services or type of offer they have. Maybe the ads aren't working for whatever reason. Flip the switch. Here is a service that will absolutely generate you high quality leads ready to close right now.
You know what's really interesting about this is that it's not just the higher quality, less volume leads, which is actually what most businesses want. Like no business is like, yo, I want 15 people calling me and asking basic questions today. Like They don't say that. They'd much rather have 1 or 2 higher quality leads every day than being flooded with enough ton of questions. Even though that's probably like a better fit for a high growth minded business, most businesses aren't that, right? They're just like the normal everyday guy that's like, I got to pay my mortgage. And I only want to deal with people that I have a good shot at winning a quote with, right? It's not just that. But if you can be like, hey, I can get you higher up on Google, that's like bragging rights. They're like, I'm number 2. What are you? Oh, I'm number 4. I'm much better. Even though there's no ROI, even though like there's no dollars attached to it, they just get to brag to their friends and their family and people that are nearby, like, oh, I'm number 1 or number 2 on Google, even though it's not the paid ads, even though it's not the search results. Like, I'm number 2 on Google My Business for electricians in Miami. And they're like, oh, that's so cool, right? And so you get to prove that your stuff works versus like just generating leads, right? Which I think is like part of the makeup of like a happy client and customer. Be like, we got you results. That's independent of like getting a whole bunch of calls, right?
Exactly. And it is easier. Well, I won't say it's easier because there is a huge back end process, but it's easier for them to see the results. Yeah. Because all they have to do then is say, okay, hey, where did you hear about me? Or how'd you find out? Oh, Google. You get enough of them extra of those phone calls every month. And they're like, oh yeah, I've gotten more calls from Google this month. Yeah. But not only that, Google My Business is completely trackable. They track the phone calls that come through it. They track the click-throughs. They track the click to directions and everything. So you're able to visually show them the increase every single month or compared to the previous year. You're able to show them the increase in the phone calls. Yeah. And you can always put a tracking number on there and like literally like replay the recording. Like we sent you 5 phone calls last week or something. You could, yes. That gets a little complicated, but yes, you could. Gotcha. Do you find that the clients are stereotypically like, God, I hate Facebook ads. This is the worst thing ever. I'm super frustrated. Do you find like those clients are stereotypically always a better fit for like a Google My Business type of service? Is that what you're thinking? I usually will try, unless I just don't want to work with them anymore. I usually will try to sell them on the Google, the Google Maps ranking service. And now you've just got another tool to keep a client or get them happy or something like that, right? Yes. Yes. Is that part of the first bullet point of like how you increase your clients' phones ringing by 50%? Was that Google My Business or was that a different process? Yes. So getting them in the Google Map Pack, essentially. Gotcha. Can you break that process down? What did that look like? How did you do that? What did that look like for you? How do I get them in the Google Map Pack? Yeah, and you don't have to go like too specific because I know that's your IP, but like, can you give like the basics of like how you do that? Because like if I could go to a business and be like, hey, this process for another client, increase their phone calls by 50%, let's try. I think that's pretty powerful, right? Sure. So there is, I'm not going to lie, it is a lot of back end work. It's nothing that can't be handed off to a VA or something like that. Or white labeled. But so what we do is we optimize their Google My Business listing. So basically filling out everything in Google My Business. From there, we even build out their Google My Business website, even though people don't see that, Google sees it. So we build out their Google My Business website, provide a ton of backlinks on that, on their Google My Business website. We post weekly, if not 2 to 3 times a week on their Google My Business listing. We update their photos weekly and actually geotag their photos. From there, we do a ton of on-site work as well. So on their website, just making sure that everything is structured correctly so that Google bots can crawl their site and understand exactly what they do. From there, creating multiple citations and backlinks across the web to boost their authority as a business, and that they are who they say they are, essentially.
Mm-hmm. So what's funny is, like, as you're talking, my brain's going, wow, this sounds like words I have no idea what you're saying. But that's no different than a home service provider or a doctor, dentist, lawyer, accountant, attorney, like me describing Facebook ads to them. They go, oh, those are words. Oh, but I have no idea what that means. Right.
And that's why I don't get into the back end with them.
Yeah, because they're like, I don't understand anything. Just like I don't want to understand how my flooring is attached, but I can walk on it. Like, you just make it look pretty, right?
Right.
So was this a particular client that, like, all of a sudden was like, wow, I went from 10 phone calls a day to 15? Like, what was that process looking like?
So I'll give one client example. This is one of the campaigns that we started early on. The year prior to them starting services with us, they had a total of like 73 calls from Google, from Google My Business. The next year, I like to look at things on more of like a 6-month to year basis with Google Maps, particularly because it does take time to build that up. So the next year, they had, I wrote it down, 573 calls.
That's a big number.
Yes. It equated to roughly $400,000 in additional revenue for their business.
And that's directly attributed to an increase of Google My Business traffic. Is that correct?
Yes.
Interesting.
They were all calls just from Google My Business.
So that means somebody is looking up, let's just pretend it's an electrician in Miami, right? So that means that people are looking up electricians in Miami, electricians near me. They're scrolling down and see the GMB listings. And they're only clicking on the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth, or something like that. And let's just say the 6th one is getting them 75 phone calls. Cool. You run your process, you GMB the hell out of it, and all of a sudden they start moving up and up and up, and more phone calls are going to those top 2 or 3 slots in the 5th or 6th, so your client is getting more phone calls, right?
Right.
And these aren't like Facebook lead, name, number, and email, please call back, we'll have to call you 7 to 10 times conversations. These are people that are like, it's a fair range that they're interested in buying what you have to sell type conversations. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And did you approach this client saying, hey, I want to GMB your face, or like what happened? Like, how did you have this conversation with the client that led to a GMB service?
Well, I told them, basically, I showed them visually where they are ranking right now. Show them the potential in terms of how many searches are happening in their area. Look, you're losing out on this many people searching for your services. And I said, I can get you those phone calls.
Interesting. So you didn't even have to do the whole song and dance. You were like, this is where you are. Obviously, this is where you want to be. Write me a check and it'll happen over the course of 3, 6, 9 months or something like that.
Exactly.
Is there ever a time when you try to climb someone's GMB, but you can't for whatever reason? Are they just like better at doing the GMB process? Is there like an asymptote? Like no realtor is ever going to be truly a maybe. You know what I mean? Is there ever like a ceiling to that type of approach?
There are times where it requires more work because they have competitors also doing back-end SEO work. And so, I mean, you just have to put in a little bit more legwork to create those backlinks and basically put in more work than the competitors. And then, of course, if Google decides to make a change overnight, then you have to kind of go in and figure out, okay, what did they do and how do we fix it?
So this is a managed service that has some brain power attached to it.
Yes.
Like, this is not a scenario like set and forget and just charge rent. It's like, no, you're going to have to do it and be aware of it and look at the rankings up and down and things like that, right?
It is. Yeah, it's very much a managed service. Most of the work comes within the first few months. And after that, you have a little bit of work after that, not as much upfront as you have up front. But the beauty of it is you can still charge the same amount every single month.
Yeah. And you can always be like, hey, our work has gotten you an extra 2, 3, or 4 phone calls a week. And honestly, like if my Facebook ads could deliver 2 or 3 or 4 phone calls a week, I'd be like, obviously this is working, right? Like stop complaining. I don't care if like 4 or 5 people are dead. You've got like 4 or 5 more phone calls coming next week. It's going to be fine. Right. So, and you can deliver the same intended result using GMB. But what I like, by the way, I like about the stop process is not only is like, does it feel like an honest, dollar-driven service? Because with Facebook ads, you set and forget and say good luck, right? But with GMB, you develop a thorough understanding of them, their competitors, their ranking, the phone calls. Like you end up being a business unit type of approach. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So with this particular client, you did your GMB magic, right? And then that brought them up the GMB rankings. And that was directly attributable to $400,000 of additional revenue. Did you have to give them like a script to learn how to deal with low quality leads? Did you have to audit their phone calls? Did you have to say, obviously, to pick up the phone? Like, did you do anything to help them make that extra 400K? Or was the quality alone what brought them the numbers?
I did not have to do anything because, like you said, the quality of the phone of the people calling and the leads coming in. I'm sorry, my dog.
Yeah.
Banjo.
No, that's fine, because when Steph and I did her interview, her cats were crawling on the keyboard, just right across, right? Yeah.
Wow. At least he's not typing all over my keyboard.
Yeah, right.
But no, I did not have to track their phone calls. I actually don't use tracking numbers because that can affect their rankings a little bit. You're supposed to remain consistent in the phone numbers that you use for businesses across the web. But I didn't have to track their phone calls, listen to them. I didn't have to babysit them and be like, hey, did you answer all these calls from Google this month? Yeah. Looks like you missed it. Like I was literally on the phone with a client this morning for an hour doing that, Facebook ad client. Yeah, but I don't have time to get back with them. Well, what do you think you're paying for? Yeah. Anyways, so no, you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to hold their hand and babysit them.
And it's simply, again, let's just use Miami Electricians. Like all of a sudden, all he has to do is just be a non-professional salesperson. The intent is so high, he can be the technician he wants to be, not have to worry about business owner skill sets or conversion conversations. Be like, hey, my name is Jeff, an electrician. How can I help you? And the guy's like, hey, I've got this problem. Can you come over? And that's the end of the conversation, right?
Yeah.
That's good stuff. That's like really, really good stuff, right? Is this the same thing that you did with your chiropractor that took him from 0 patients to 80? Or is there like a different kit and caboodle? Or what did that look like for you?
That is the same thing. So we also have done Facebook ads for them. Mm-hmm. But it's funny because they actually can't take on any more new clients now. I kind of worked myself out of that service. Yeah. But yeah, that's the same thing that brought them. They're consistently ranking the top in Google for chiropractor in our area. And so they're taking in roughly 80 new patients a month. Yeah. Just from that.
Are you doing any extra services beyond Google My Business? And the reason why I bring it up is because I can imagine like Facebook ads for some reason in my head is like a $1,500, $2,000 a month service only because I keep saying that. Only because I hang out with people that do that, right? That's like my universe. And when somebody says I charge $200, I'm like, obviously they're doing it wrong. That's just like my snotty attitude, right? Right. Does GMB have a price range similar to that? Like, are we talking it's a $2,000 a month service? What's that range for a stereotypical GMB service?
It's all over the place. And that's why it's so hard that's why I never use the term SEO, first of all, because usually if they've had a bad experience with the previous SEO, it's because they were paying $200 a month to that SEO person or whoever, and they were doing the bare minimum. The price range that I've seen for services that actually work is usually anywhere from $500 to I've even seen someone charge $3,000. And of course, that depends on the niche that you're in as well. Obviously, if you're working with lawyers, they can most likely afford, $2,000-$3,000 a month. Yeah. For that. And it also depends on how much work is going on in the back end. Like I said, if they are in a higher competitive area, or higher populated area, it is going to cost more because it requires a lot much more work on the back end.
Yeah.
To get them there.
Do you do anything else to a client beyond GMB? For example, I call it the wallet out campaign, right? So there's like customer research, which you're familiar with, and there's a soap opera sequence. It's not just Facebook ads. That's like just the engine, right? So is that similar to what you do? Like you've got the GMB engine and other stuff, or are you just doing GMB?
No, I do Facebook ads as well. But I usually, many of my local SEO clients will end up getting a website through us, because that is another conversion machine in itself. And I've seen other marketers preach, oh, you don't need a website. All you need is a great funnel and a great Facebook ad. But that's not true for many local businesses, because you have to think of the buying process, and you have to think of your own buying process. When someone refers someone to you, what's one of the first things that you do if you're not sure who they are, you've never heard of them before?
Look them up.
You look them up and you look up their website. And like I mentioned before, if you find them on Google and it's a higher ticket item, a lot of times you're going to do a little bit more research and dive further into that business to make sure that they're going to be a good fit for you. So websites are very important, and it's also important to use that customer research that you've done already for them in their website. So maybe you already have a relationship established with them. You've already built out Facebook ads for them. You've done that customer research. You know the language that their customers are using. Bring that over into their website.
Yep.
To make it a conversion machine for them. Don't just use that in the email marketing and in your text follow-ups and your funnels. Use it on their website too, and then track that. So you can show them, hey, you used to have people used to stay on your website only 30 seconds on average. Now they stay on your website an average of 4 minutes. And I know that may not mean much, but that's actually huge, because that means that people are staying on your site and they are considering you further. And from there, you can even track click to calls, form fill outs, everything. And it makes a huge difference when you optimize someone's site for conversions as well. And that's the one of the points as well, as far as how to get their phone ringing more, is to optimize their website for conversions.
So the philosophy behind this is, and you tell me if I'm summarizing this correctly, your journey was, hey, I'm gonna have a conversation with somebody that knows, like, and trusts me, get my foot in the door. Here's a website I could build for you. Let me GMB some stuff, have a good time. And you use that as a foot in the door, and you end up just simply selling more stuff. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's how it's supposed to be, right? That's literally how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
What I'm learning from you right now is that I have clients that have poor SEO, poor websites, poor GMB, but my whole philosophy is like, it doesn't matter, just get people on the phone. And you're saying, yeah, it kind of does. And one of the easier way of getting higher quality conversations is to just up their GMB ranking, because chances are, if they're in business, people are searching for them. They're just not finding them, they're finding somebody else. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly.
So if I went to a current client, whether it's like a low cost client, a free trial, or a high tier client, be like, hey, Mrs. Johnson, I did some research. It looks like you're actually ranked 6 on GMB. And according to Google itself, you're getting 2 or 3 phone calls a day. I have a specific and very unique process that could take you to the 3rd spot on GMB, and maybe you'll get an extra 30 or 40% phone calls. Would you be interested in this paid service? That's all I gotta say. And now I'm having a dollar-driven conversation. Is that about right?
That's right.
Wish it was harder. Like,
right.
Really wish it was harder.
The beautiful thing is you can actually visually show them. I have a tool that I use that visually shows them how many people are searching for their services in their area. So it's not like you're lying to them. This is exactly, there's 200, 300, 400 people searching for hair salon in your area, and you're not showing up, so you're not getting those people.
This sounds like a very easy way to either add on clients that would have just flat out canceled, right? You can be like, hey, I hear you. We've got this other service. And now instead of losing a $2,000 a month client, you've kept a client at like $500, $700 a month. That's A. B, it's a very easy upsell, like, hey, Mr. Johnson, we could actually get you more and higher quality and handle Google My Business so you can tell your friends you're number 2 instead of not even on the list. So you can either keep a client or upsell more stuff. Or I could simply master this GMB process and get my foot in the door with more people and be confident because I can go up to them like, look, everybody's searching for carpenters. They're not finding you because of X. Would you like me to do this for you? Is that about correct?
Yeah, exactly. And with our service, we have a 6-month contract because it takes time to do this. So with our Facebook ads, I know a lot of people do 3-month contracts. Ours is month to month, but the GMB ranking is a 6-month contract. So right out of the gate, you have that income to rely on for those 6 months.
And the reason why I like this long-term time frame is it allows for naturals up and downs.
Right.
Like imagine if it was like, hey, you're going to lose 3 pounds in 3 days and you didn't, your gym would be like, well, tough, you should stay longer. You'd be like, oh, I hate this gym. But if it was like 3 pounds in 3 months, all of a sudden you can smooth out the ups and downs and you're going to get better results in 3 months as opposed to 3 days and lose more than 3 pounds. And every time I have a conversation, a long-term contract with a client, they're just better clients.
Yes.
They're just flat out better clients.
Right. And they understand from the get-go that it takes time to see to start seeing those results. Yeah. And so they're not calling you every 2 weeks. They're not calling you every day. I have one Facebook ad client that calls me every flippin' day. Every day. And yells at me and says, everyone in your industry is a crook. He's talking about his previous people that he worked with, but he's yelling at me like, everyone in your industry is a crook. And I'm like, dude, like, I don't have time for this.
Like, I thank you very much for your opinion, sir. I actually have a upcharge fee for complaints.
Right.
If you'd like, you can pay me additional and I'll listen to you. Yeah, I really like the simplicity about what you're communicating. Yes. It sounds like if I could simply get my client fewer higher quality leads, they can go up and down, and your GMB process seems an easy way of communicating that.
Yes.
We've got about 20 minutes left, ladies and gents, and I want to leave time for Q&A. So if you're watching this live, just ask your question now, and I'll be sure to bring it up on the live, and we'll deal with it immediately. I also want to say, for 3 people who want to get on a 15-minute call with Corinne to talk about GMB, how it works, why it works, all that fun stuff, she has volunteered to do one 15-minute group call with 3 people. So if you're interested in that, just hashtag Corinne my face. I'll pick 3 people, introduce you, and we'll take it from there. But the first question was, what is the approximate range clients will pay for a GMB ranking service? You said it's all over the map, but is it like steady, like 700, 500, 1,000? What does that look like?
I actually probably don't charge enough. I've always had that, and you helped me with that a little bit, Jeff, as far as increasing my prices. I charge $580 a month, but I also that's for lower populated areas. So that's going to be like the lowest of the low. Now, if you're talking about higher populated cities and more competition, then you're looking at upwards of 1,000 plus.
So if I'm charging, let's just say $2,000 a month for my Facebook ad service, I could increase my prices 50% simply by stuffing in a GMB service at a medium to high density population area.
Yes. Yeah. You could package up everything. Oh my gosh, my dog.
Hey, puppies.
You could package up everything and offer, a higher price for all of that.
Very cool.
I'm going to hand him off to my mom really quick. One second.
Okay, you got it. Yeah. It's just you and me, ladies and gents. Just rocking out. It's going to be fun. Adam just typoed Corinne. Adam, give that another shot. Okay. All right. So Drew says, no, I grew up with 7 dogs. Okay. I totally get it. Yeah.
No, my husband decided it's a great time for a puppy with 2 kids under the age of 5. So
perfect. I mean, that'll just make life easier, right? You get to shut all the doors and feed them all the time. So we got a question, which is, Drew says, Do you give your clients updates monthly, bi-monthly? What does that client conversation look like with the GMB client?
So I will update them monthly.
Mhm.
Biweekly is just, I mean, it's not a long enough period of time to see really much fluctuation biweekly. So I will update them monthly.
Gotcha. And is that like a deep dive of a conversation like I do, where I'm like, how could you do this? What is wrong with you? I can't believe you didn't call back the Like, is it that conversation, or is it like, hey, we got you 5 phone calls? Like, what does that look like?
No, typically it's a Loom video or something going over their reporting. This is how many phone calls you got. This is the increase that we saw, or this is how many more click-throughs to your website that you got, and this is how much it increased in this time. This is how much your keyword rankings went up. Really simple like that, and really all they care about is how many more phone calls are they getting.
I like that a lot. Like, if you can be like, hey, we sent you 500 people to your website last month, and your website looks like trash. Can I please fix it for you so you get more phone calls?
Exactly.
That is such a better conversation than, how do you feel about your website?
Yes.
It's just very clearly like, we're going to make you more money. It's just much easier to say yes to that.
Exactly.
Adam says, out of everything that the ranking is based on, how much of it is based on reviews? Is there other stuff? Like, what's that mix to up the numbers?
I would say very minimal is based on reviews, if any, to be honest. I think that used to be the case maybe about a year ago. But yeah, very minimally based on reviews in terms of ranking. Now, obviously, in terms of that potential client pulling the trigger, they need 5-star reviews to back them up.
Yeah.
But in terms of ranking, reviews is very low. For the actual work behind it, you need to have consistency across the web. So their name, address, and phone number needs to be consistent wherever they're found. Whatever citations they have needs to be consistent. Their website should be structured properly so that Google can read it and know who they are and what they do. One of the very first things that we do is establish their Google categories and make sure that they have all of the Google categories that go according to their business.
What are Google? They're all like, no matter how technically proficient I believe I am, there's always this whole other world of unknown. Google categories is a thing now?
Yeah, it's been a thing.
Oh my God.
It's been a thing, Jeff. Come on.
I feel like an old man that's like, when did they invent color TV? Like, oh my God. All right. So
I was showing my daughter the phone that I had when I was in high school. It was like one of those VTech purple phones. I was showing my 5-year-old dad. I was like, look, we didn't have cell phones. I talked on this purple house phone.
Perfect. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into the review. It's not just, or into the ranking. It's not just reviews. The reviews are part of a human experience, not a computer-generated increase your ranking type of experience. Is that correct?
Right. So we do try to help it kind of along the process with our response to the reviews. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not necessarily the thing that moves the needle the most.
Gotcha. We've got a question by Solomon. By the way, ladies and gents, this is Q&A. If you have a specific question about GMB, the process, how to keep clients, get clients, all that fun stuff, now is the time to ask. Solomon says, what's the tool you are using to see how many people are searching for your client's service? Is it Keyword Planner, or is it something else, or how do you think about that?
It's Keywords Everywhere. And it's a Google Chrome extension.
So that means, you tell me if I'm wrong here, if I wanted to go to my car wash guy and be like, hey, Mr. Johnson, X number of people every single week are Googling car wash and looking for a car wash, but they're not going to you because of XYZ reason. I would just go to keyword, what was it?
Download Keywords Everywhere extension.
Yeah.
And I literally have it turned on pretty much all the time on my computer. And it will show you how many people are searching, and it will give you recommended keywords as well.
This honestly sounds like a service I need to add to my agency. Like, this just seems like a very easy way. And I'm in the medical space, and I'm trying not to share my niche, even though I accidentally do it every week.
We all know, Jeff.
Yeah, we all know, right? Everybody knows, right? It sounds like this is either an easy way to get higher quality leads, balance out Facebook ads, charge more, just have another honest dollar-driven conversation. Because
Yes.
if I can go to a furniture maker, God, I'm just going to say it. Let's say I go to my chiropractor and I'm like, look, Mr. Johnson, you want more chiropractor clients? You want more patients coming in? There's 1,000 people every single day looking for chiropractors, and they're not finding you because you're dead last in Google My Business.
Right.
Follow what the GMB queen is saying, do this process, and over the course of 6 months, your numbers will increase over time. I'm going to charge you for the service. This is what you can expect. What do you say? That's the whole conversation.
Right.
Not hard, not challenging, not difficult, right?
No, not at all.
And you don't white label GMB. You do this yourself. Is that correct?
We do everything ourselves, yes, but we are white labeling. We as an agency are white labeling. Just started our white labeling service for other agencies.
Perfect. Peter says, how long on average does it take before you start seeing results? What is it, like 3 months, 6 months? What does that look like?
Yeah, usually they'll start seeing results after 3 months.
Gotcha. Cameron says, did you white label GMB at first? Now you do it yourself. Well, she does it herself and she white labels now. Varun says, my question is, what's really working on boosting GMB? Reviews, images, posts, in what order, or is it a whole mix? Or what are your thoughts on that?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Varun says,
out a little bit.
my question is, what is really working when it comes to boosting GMB? Like, is there one thing that ups those numbers, or is it all of the above?
Yeah, I think we talked about that a little bit earlier, but it's really a combination. And I think the only thing I didn't really mention before was backlinking and boosting the domain authority.
Yeah.
So it is important to create those backlinks to their website to boost their domain authority. And having well-written content to help kind of usher that along.
Corinne, every time you say something like domain backlinking, like I have no idea what that means. And that means we desperately need to do a masterclass. Like if I don't understand it, there's 53,000 other people that very clearly don't understand, because we all do Facebook ads and client yelling. Like we have no idea what Google domain backlinking is. I'm sure somebody's going to say that they know, but you know what I mean. I do want to do a quick temp check with everybody on here. If you'd like me and Corinne to do a masterclass on her GMB process, how you could sell it, how you could package it, how you could keep a client, get them on 3, 6 month or 9 month retainers, just hashtag GMB my face. We'll add you to a VIP list. If there's enough people, Corinne and I will have a masterclass conversation, and then we'll ultimately take it from there and see what's up. Oscar says, what usually happens after the 6 month contract? The desired result is achieved. You can't get them up higher beyond number 1. What does that look like?
So most of my clients stay on with me past that 6 months. I don't even really have a 6 month conversation with them unless they say like, hey, I can't afford it anymore or something like that. And if that's the case, then it's usually something on their end in terms of closing people, or they're having issues with their back end or their employees or whatever. But most of my clients stay on with me past the 6 months. So the question was, what happens after it if they same management? Yeah, I'll keep them on the same management price.
Interesting. So you can either just keep them on like normal, go month to month, just like you would if you're moving out or something like that. But my philosophy is always like, it's time to sell something else. Like, let's just say that you have done all the client getting magic in the world, or sorry, the customer getting magic in the world, and your client is capped out. They can no longer take more clients and customers. Great. See you later. Goodbye. Don't do that. Right. Instead, you could say, okay, let's now work on getting you to sell more stuff, building a referral network, a second location, hiring. Like there's always the next step. So to answer that question, you can either just keep them on month to month and make sure that they solidify and build that moat around their ranking, or you can simply sell something else, or call the competitor like David Kunstek says and have a good time, right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Perfect. Oscar says, is it low maintenance once it's ranked at the top 3? Do you have to do more work? Like when you start hitting it, is it more work? Is it like an asymptote, or what does that look like?
No, it's usually obviously less work. Like I mentioned, the most of the work comes within the first 3 months or so of getting all their on-site structure established, the right content in place, the backlinkings and all of that. From there, it's just
Oh, we lost her. Oh God. Wait, is it me?
Consistently providing.
No, go back 30 seconds.
Sorry.
We lost you. Go back.
Oh, you
Okay.
lost me. Okay. So most of the work is in the first three-ish months. After that, it's just updating their Google My Business listing, posting images, and then just having a consistent updating and stream of backlinks. Not a ton after that, of course, depending on their competition. I always have to put that in there. So if someone's kind of coming in and they notice that their competitor is doing work and now they're like, oh crap, I got to hire an SEO team now. And so you do have to keep an eye on the competition and what they're doing. But typically most of the work is in the first 3 months.
Perfect. Well, Corinne, this has been eye-opening for me. The biggest blind spot for me has always been generating higher quality leads at a lower volume. And I've done that by having more form fills on Facebook or having an ISA. And that's working, and it's working both in my agency and other agencies. But what if there was a better way? Like, what if there's something new and different that could lead to a new conversation with a new client? And it sounds like GMB might be it. So to kind of quickly in summary, ladies and gents, if you would like to be interested in winning a 15-minute session with Corinne, just hashtag Corinne My Face. If you believe that Corinne and I should do a paid masterclass about GMB, hashtag GMB, hashtag GMB My Face. And then if there's enough interest, Corinne and I will figure out a masterclass where she'll show you all the ifs, ands, or buts on how to do this yourself and ultimately get a paid client because of it. Corinne, top notch, very well done. Before we break off, was there any last questions, comments, concerns, things somebody should know before they start going on this journey? Or did we pretty much cover everything?
I think we covered most of it.
Perfect. Ladies and gents, Corinne Fisher talking about GMB, home service, and that increased quality and lower volume ultimately.
I will say this. Sorry, Jeff. I will say this. I know that most people are have noticed, obviously, that a Facebook ads agency alone isn't going to cut it because of recent events. But this hasn't just happened. It's been happening for a long time in terms of Facebook shutting people down just willy-nilly. They have their support sucks. So you cannot put all your eggs in one basket. And I think I knew that from the very beginning. And that's why I tried to poise my agency accordingly. Now, it does slow down your growth, I would say, because you are spreading out your services. But if you're in it for the long haul, I would suggest highly considering that, or at least finding a way to expand your services. Because I know we've seen many people in this group just get shut down overnight. Yep. And the only services that they were offering were Facebook ads. And guess what? Now they have no more income, no more business. They can't help their clients anymore. Yep. So diversification is very, very important.
Always have multiple channels. Like I'm learning as I migrate away from Facebook ads exclusively and saying, look, we got to start doing something beyond that, because my ad account got shut down by accident for 24 hours. I'm like, oh, that's what it feels like. Oh, right. And the weirdest part is like the ads are still running. Like I can't go in and turn them off. I'm like, why is that a thing? That makes no sense. Right.
Right.
And so like, if that's the current theme as an agency, I can either fight that trend or adapt to it. And more in the second case. So now I'm looking into GMB. Now I'm looking into YouTube ads. Mm-hmm. Now I'm looking into like call centers and charging it, like diversifying the income, because stuff always goes up and down. And what I'm hearing is if you're an agency that either wants more clients, more customers, high quality, or is worried about getting kicked the F off, I mean, GMB might be a solution.
Yeah, absolutely. So
we'll see what happens. Again, last call, hashtag Corinne My Face to see if you can win a 15-minute call with Corinne, and hashtag GMB My Face. Every week, Critical Mass, she and I will do a GMB masterclass. Pop the hood, show you what's up. Corinne Fisher, top tier, excellent job. Don't hang up. Everybody, see you guys later.
Bye. Thank you.